through your freedom.
Well, like we were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it. Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. The election of 2024 is being held right now in 2022. What does this have to do with SHTF? It hitting the fan. It has everything to do with it. The attack on you, our country, the rule of law, our system of government known as a constitutional republic, our freedoms, our liberties, our rights, our standard of living, our way of life, our philosophy, our personal beliefs, our moral foundations, everything is up for grabs in this election. It's also about 2024, but this is all pre-campaign. We're in the fight for our lives, whether you feel it or not, whether you understand it. Now, I have for quite some time operated on a sense of intellect as well as like a sixth sense. And a lot of people are talking about this feeling of anxiety and dread they have. Yeah, I think we all kind of feel it, don't we? We're sensitive to it. What they're doing is wrong, and that's what we know. That's what we know. Now, I don't like to run down our country. But when I talk about the Democrats and Washington, D.C., I'm not running down our country because that's not our country. Our country is freedom and liberty, the Constitution. That's what our country was. Is that where we're at today with all the censorship, political attacks and arrests? Okay. Having said that, let's talk about what is happening in DC right now and how that affects us and the world. Right? In January of 2021, January 6th, protests were being held because people didn't like what was going on. The President of the United States, the executive branch of government at the White House, notified Congress. Nancy Pelosi notified the police and said, hey, bad things are coming. We think you should use the National Guard to help maintain peace. And they said, no, thank you. We don't want it. Instead, what we got were a bunch of agents provocateurs who were pointed at, pointed to, pointed out by patriotic, all freedom-loving protesters. And these agents provocateur committed crimes, folks. And they've been using that ever since to villainize, demonize, lie about you and me, President Trump, what was happening, the sentiment, etc. They called it insurrection, as if an armed militia had shown up and was trying to take over. Right? We know what happened. Yet the lie continues, the persistence of this fake January 6th committee led by an incredible anti-Trump rhino Republican who is asking Democrats to vote for her in a primary election in her state so that she can stay in office. Now, they brought out a witness, a surprise witness. They couldn't believe it. Where did this come from? The surprise witness. Well, the nickname she's gotten, which I am more than happy to repeat here, is Cassidy Smollett Hutchinson, right? Named after Jussie Smollett, who claimed he was attacked by white supremacists who did all sorts of bad things to him, called him names, put a noose around his neck, poured gasoline on him allegedly, and a number of other things. Turned out that he hired 2 Nigerian brothers to perform a political and, shall we say, Hollywood-style hoax on the world. He was convicted of it, and now, of course, that he's free, he's denying any of it. So that's the nickname she's got, Cassidy Smollett Hutchinson. Why? Because she's in front of the world lying, or carrying the lies of others, rather. If you don't think that she is lying, if you think she's telling the truth, right? Well, she's been caught. She claimed that someone told her. Right there, it's hearsay and it should be dismissed. But no, the January 6th committee, folks, is running a 2022-2024 campaign against Trump and against you and against America. Trying to say that Trump is a bad person, right? Trump isn't on the ballot in 2022. Why are they attacking him? Because they need to hold down Trump and they need to hold you down. Trump is still filling massive arenas full of people for rallies. He is campaigning for numerous Republicans across the country, and they're winning in the 2022 election. They don't want him keeping his momentum and carrying his momentum to the next election. They're afraid of him. They're afraid of him. So this claim by Cassidy Smollett that President Trump, right, while in the Beast, which is the bulletproof, armored, explosion-proof presidential protection vehicle, right, somehow managed to climb through an access hole in a polycarbonate bulletproof window to grab a hold of the steering wheel, right? Well, the U.S. Secret Service has denied, right, Trump tried to grab the steering wheel, and they're willing to testify too, folks. The coup of 20 was followed by the coup part 2 of 2021 as the Democrats, folks, and the FBI staged the January 6th incident, and they did such a crappy job there that they're still trying to make it real with lie piled on lies. Yes, folks, impossible. The president in the back seat cannot squeeze through a small hole or punch his way through bulletproof partitions to grab the steering wheel. And there is no report I have found or heard anyone else found saying Trump choked anyone. Why so desperate, Democrats? Losing the campaign in 2022? Afraid of a Republican Congress and Trump for 2024? Yes, they are. They're incredibly afraid, folks, because I believe treason has been committed. And when treason has been committed, those who have committed it know that if they're caught, it's the end of their lives. So they are fighting for their lives at this point. That's how they see this. They're fighting for their lives as well as their political ambitions. Now, to defend Cassidy Smollett Hutchinson, Brett Baier of Fox News screamed, right? Rah! I don't know if he screamed, but he's claiming Cassidy Hutchinson is under oath, right? Trying to defend her. Why? Shouldn't he just be reporting the news, or is he too carrying the water? Right? Sorry, Brett, lying under oath doesn't make it fact or truth. And repeating someone else's lies under oath doesn't make it fact or truth. And being hearsay testimony under oath doesn't give it any weight. Right? And folks, mainstream media, not just by you and I, but it's viewed by all of America as pure shit and propaganda. Right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see it. But what I think the upshot to all of this is, as Americans, as patriots, as preppers, we need to see that they're going to take this all the way. We are now in scorched earth mode. The Democrats will destroy everything to keep power. That's what scorched earth is. You just destroy everything in your efforts to maintain power and control, to win at all costs. That's where we're at, folks. Scorched earth campaign, right? I pray that it's not that bad, but all signs are pointing to exactly that. If 2020, the summer of love, the mostly peaceful firebombing protests, if that is any indicator of what they're willing to do, then we need to be very, very prepared to protect ourselves, our family, our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, that people need to take action and talk to their city council, police, and sheriff's department and say, if the city police won't do the job, then we ask the sheriff to bring his people in and fix this. And if the sheriff doesn't have enough people, we want you, sheriff, to deputize citizens and make them part of the auxiliary sheriff's department to deal with this. It is not about going out and shooting people in these protests. It is about having enough manpower to stop them, to stop arson, murder, and mayhem at all costs, I think, is what's going to be coming here. Otherwise, these people will burn and loot and even murder, just as they did in 2020. Sheriffs need to deputize the citizens who are more than willing to step up. Patriots, veterans, talk to your sheriff's department and tell them what you expect them to do, and it's going to get that bad. If they're willing to lie in Congress to this extent to try and stop a Republican American victory in 2022, imagine what they're willing to do, not in DC, but in your hometown, in your city. We have to be prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need to be prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Thank you for supporting us here at subscribestar.com, The Prepared Mind. Right? We're going to bring you information. We're going to bring you perspective. And that's what this is. Perspective with a little satire sprinkled on top. Right? Because that's the platform under which we can operate and speak. Because it's all just humor. Right? None of it's to be taken serious. But when you look outside, do you find it funny? Do you find humor in it? I guess it's all personal, isn't it? Well, this is very personal to me, folks. That's why I'm in this chair, either in Studio A or down in the bunker. It doesn't matter. I am here with you guys talking to you. And I pray that you take action. I hope you do. It's up to you. You get to think for yourself, choose for yourself. We can choose to be slaves and servants to the greatest moronic force the world has ever seen. Or we can choose to serve ourselves and each other as free men and women. It is our choice. I'm pro-choice in that manner. Funny how the Democrats, these wacko socialists, these radical leftists, they don't want free choice for you. Not when it comes to anything. But they want it for themselves. A chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi. And thank you again for supporting all of our efforts. I'll see you next at the Q&A.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore. Hell yes, hell yes, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15. Hell yes, your AK-47. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
Oh, hell no!
Hell yes.